Hello, hello, good people of the world of old. So, we are starting our stream about an hour earlier than usual. And we are picking up on what will be part 4, I believe, or maybe part 3 of an ongoing duel. Oh, and apparently a hot one between Cliff and Blaj. So, I believe Blaj hasn't joined the game quite yet. Sorry, communicating with the players as well at the same time. But as I am finding out about this game, we'll take the opportunity while we are waiting for both players to have joined. I believe Cliff is in the game, but Blaj hasn't joined yet. To survey the situation, I'm surprised to see a legendary city with apparently quite a few wonders: the Ishtar Gate, the pyramids, the mausoleum, and the Acropolis, all in the capital. Am I missing any more? It doesn't look like it. So pyramids, Ishtar Gate, mausoleum, Acropolis, and the Heliopolis is building somewhere. Yes. So this is the Heliopolis about to complete here. And we have, well, I assume quite a few shrines. Let's see. I'm seeing 2 in the capital for now. There is polytheism, so there are probably quite a few more around, but I wonder what the benefit of the Heliopolis will be. 3, 4 in the city, 4, 5, 5, 6. So that will be at least 6 more orders per turn, assuming I don't find any other shrines. There are more, so that would be 7, 8, 9. Any shrine is worth 10, and with that much stone, 11, 12. Well, 12 isn't bad to start with, but 50 stone for 1 order is well worth it, of course. Alright, there is a 13th one here, but I imagine the order economy is more focused on what's happening here. So it seems Babylon has reached. Well, let's check what they have reached. They do have crossbows, so they can make crossbows, horsemen, archers, and spearmen as units, as well as their unique unit. Of course, we found a few citadels, and it seems there are quite a few unique units as well on the board. A pair of ballistas, several onagers, 2 slingers, a large amount of crossbowmen. I believe that's 8, 9. 2 Acadian archers and 3 Cimmerians. And on the Kushite side, let's have a look while Blaj is joining the game. So here we see scattering. Well, I assume less power on the range side, and that is wrong. There are 6 ballistas, 5 onagers, so a lot more siege, definitely, than on the Babylonian side. Several slingers, and 6 Medjay archers. Apparently their entire army was affected by an earthquake. That is most unfortunate. Let's see what else we can find. A scattering of warriors, axemen, and spearmen. So they do have steel, which is a definite advantage when facing spearmen. But of course, crossbowmen are a disaster regarding melee units, and for melee units, especially let's say tier 2 melee units such as axemen and spearmen. They cannot hold their ground against crossbows. Maybe with large numbers and in forest, but this is This is not a single crossbow or a pair of them. It's at least 4 that we can see immediately on the front line, and 2 more right behind. So this looks like a pretty difficult situation at the moment. Nicely promoted units. Yeah, right. Move the filters. So the King of Kush is currently a warlike, educated orator. They are the governor of Qasr Ibrim, which is not the capital, but the landowner seat, well advanced and a very valuable spot. They are lagging behind in terms of wonder. They manage still to grab 2 of the weak one, the Hanging Garden and the Yazidi Kaya. Let's check the situation for religion. So, Kush almost monopolized religion, with Judaism, Zoroastrianism and Christianity founded in their empire. And of course, Kushite paganism well spread, although they seem to have very strong opinion issues with them. There is, well, the religious leader is imprisoned and slighted, and they are furious about the leader, so that is, well, unfortunate to say the least. They have a full house of councillors, so they might be able to assassinate them or use other tools, but no matter, they still have positive opinions with all their families, and even friendly with the one that is following Kushite paganism. 2 of the religions are well developed with 3 theologies each, as opposed to Manichaeism, which is just spread in 2 cities. So I have to assume that Babylon is probably getting some benefit from these theologies, from well, minority religions from their perspective. Let me check. Yes, Christianity and Judaism have both spread here, Zoroastrianism and Judaism in this contested Kushite city. Right, this is still Kush. And in fact, no, we see mostly pagan cities. There's a bit of Zoroastrianism and Christianity in Mari. Zoroastrianism has spread to Eshnuna. Manichaeism was founded in Dur-Kurikalzu, and it has spread to Sipar, but not to the capital, notably. And they are understandably not focused on producing disciples at the moment. Let's check the graph. So in terms of military score, Babylon is significantly ahead, although they both took a hit from recent fighting, and they are both ramping up quickly. So if either of the player... Alright, apparently there is an issue with preventing Blaj from connecting, so... So we'll see if both players disconnect. I might have to reconnect. So we see horseman protection, additional ballistas. But yeah, it seems the initial engagement was mostly in favor of Babylon, although there are well-positioned managers in the backline. And yeah, we see major archers creeping up as well. But I would give the advantage to Babylon still regarding this ongoing fight. They can definitely kill a bit more, although of course fighting in range of siege units is very dangerous. Woodcutter of all things. Alright, so I guess progressing in terms of territory. Alright, so maybe we'll rehost. Blaj is facing trouble joining the game. Alright, let's keep looking at graphs. So in terms of science production, Babylon has had a lead for a long time, but they've been significantly overtaken by Kush overall. So let's see. Yeah, in terms of tech spent, of what they accumulated over the game, Babylon still has an advantage for now, because they've had a consistent advantage until turn 82. So despite the peak we are observing, they're still not quite caught up from the Kushite side. And let me disconnect and come back as the game is getting rehosted. I'll try to let Blaj join in the game first. Yeah, I wouldn't see why. Yeah, right. Cliff is mentioning that it might be a save issue and is offering to load another save, but we'll have to see. Oops, that's not the right one. That will be. Alright, it seems both players are in the game. Let me check. So, Babylon has more wonders, slightly better military score, but Kush managed to reach the center of the map first, it seems. Is that correct? Is that right? No, this is the center of the map. So yeah, alright. This city can be called the center city, so they have a slight advantage because this one wasn't settled yet, although there is a settler on the way. But there is a definite advantage in terms of victory points to Kush at the moment, and obviously they're going to get additional victory points as they still have some weak cities that are on the verge of becoming developing. Karanog, well, should get there also in time. Kandruka is only 7 years out from getting strong, so that would be one more victory point. And they got the holy site for the for Judaism, and I'm not sure if they have the one for Zoroastrianism. That's a possibility, but definitely not certain. Let me check. Can I see it here? Yes, I do. The Ador Bosenmir is here and available. Alright. They have a very strong order economy. So that is... what is that? That's modest and serfdom. Excellent legitimacy, I must admit. But also a lot of orders per city, so that would be coming from... I expect... No, we do not have Revelation Temple. We just have a lot of temples because Jebel Bakal was built. And as well, the wonders are both adjacent to a kingship shrine. And I'm not sure where all the other orders are coming from, but I assume stronghold and citadels, and probably there's a garrison somewhere. But I don't find it, so the map is maybe a bit cramped for space, and maybe they just upgraded or overbuilt a garrison with a stronghold. And we see garrison and stronghold here as well, and garrison, stronghold again. And well, I expect scattering of camps and other producing improvements. Yes, yes. There are quite a few more strongholds in production, and a few monasteries, etc. So yeah, but anyway, very strong order economy. It is somewhat striking that Kush is up to plus 87 orders per turn, as opposed to Babylon being on plus 59, despite being on the verge of completing the Heliopolis. So the Heliopolis will equalize that a little bit, but not fully. I think we completed 13 shrines, so I probably missed a few. Yeah, I missed at least one here. But still, oh yeah, this is just a sword cult. All right, I didn't read that quite well. But yeah, we'll see. But it seems, for now, there are some things going in Kush direction, with definitely in victory points at the moment. 9, well, about to be only 7 because of the completion of the Heliopolis that is impending. But it seems Blaj and Kush have a little bit more room for culture victory point. Also, Mari is about to get developing. Eridu is about to get strong. But yeah, this might go to victory points actually, and might be quite a race depending on what our players do. Let's check what's happening here. So yeah, Ballista Scouts. Is he opting to... Yes, he is opting to fight on the front line. This unit was completely zogged, so that's understandable. There are 7 units, already killed 4, 2 horsemen, a ballista and a Cimmerian archer. He's moving essentially with ranged unit to alleviate the combat prowess of the crossbows he's facing, I have to assume. And hello Andros, and hello Snap. Welcome to stream. No, Babylon doesn't have the Heliopolis quite yet. It's about to complete. It should complete next turn, I believe. Oh, and sorry, I have to mute myself a second. So yes, the Heliopolis is about to complete next turn, but it is not done yet. So that's 59 order before the Heliopolis. I tried to count shrine, I probably missed a few, but I estimate between 13 and 15 more orders per turn from next turn on. But Kush without the Heliopolis is already on 87 orders per turn at the moment, so I assume quite a bit of that is having an orator with at least one pleased family, so that's 4 cities, so that would be 4 extra orders. But we are seeing some of the strengths of orators on display. And for now, he has a marked VP advantage. So this city is about to get a culture level next turn. This one, not quite yet, but 10 turns. Kondruka in 7 turns. And yeah, there are 2 weak cities on the front line. A third one here that could gain culture quite quickly. Is a mythology religion on the board? Yes, there is. So additional shrines in Jewish cities are a lot of culture at the moment. Okay, and the fight is ongoing. They managed to kill 6 units already, so a crossbowman, a Cimmerian archer, an Acadian archer, a ballista, and a pair of horsemen, so valuable units all. It might be a slaughter in return though, with all those massed crossbows around. And yeah, routing for, well, a lot of damage, but he's better inflict as much damage as he can, because the retaliation will surely be painful. And I believe he's managing to do that. Unfortunately, part of his strength are siege units, so ballistas are moving forward, but of course the value of onager is much lesser when you are on the offensive as opposed to defending. You would want your enemy to walk into range rather than having to move forward yourself. And this earthquake from well, the conclusion of the last session of this game, I believe, is sure proving painful. He has to work with hurt units, and that doesn't help, obviously. Right, he's about to complete his turn. But yeah, alright. It took 7 losses last turn, including several slingers and a walker, and he inflicted 7 losses himself, and they are all valuable units. 2 crossbows, 2 horsemen, a ballista, a Cimmerian archer, and an Acadian archer, so well done. Of course, he's about to lose some himself, but yeah, not defenseless, to be sure. Has to pick production in a few cities, and he is doing just that. Didn't expand this timer. And there it's Babylon once again. An inspiring but corrupt, bold and humble judge, apparently with awesome stats. 8, 3, 6, 7 is crazy attributes. Quite a few options in the tech tree. They are quite deep, our players. Martial code has been unlocked, so I assume barding is one potential pick, but still is not an offer. So you might well wish to just rotate the tech tree by picking a quick tech. I assume at this point they won't want to double down on late game stuff with scholarship and things that follow. But he has a solid economy, which is, I assume, used mostly to rush out units since Martial Code is online. The Heliopolis has completed, so we can see that he will get significantly more orders next turn, but still, he still has to catch up in terms of further economy to Kush, despite that. The update of the military score is painful to see. Kush almost equalized with Babylon this last turn, but of course we still have to see the counter attack. Some units are starting to die. A ballista, horseman, a major archer have already in the dust. We'll see if they can achieve the route they are looking for. They definitely can. I assume this is coming up. No, it's not. They are wasting part of their routing potential, but so of course this unit could kill an attack. So the focus should be on bringing these units in kill range via route, and he destroyed his own route here by disjointing it with a Cimmerian archer. So a bit of a tactical misplay there, or at least if you have routing units around, that's what I would favor in terms of order and movement efficiency. But he is inflicting a lot of damage nonetheless, so it's definitely, well, somewhat working. I suppose with horsemen on the round, I would try to get rid of the spears as soon as possible. A crossbowman with eagle eye on marksman is painful to see. But we'll see. So he's burned a bit less than half the orders he had for this turn. Alright, panicking a unit out of the forest, good, but there's still a commander and still benefit from adjacency, both as a commander and as a major archer. Violence is happening. Oh, he hasn't adopted Holy War, so he's reached Martial Code, but ooh, that's a lot of damage inflicted by killing this tactician. Although that was necessary, I suppose, but the spears are still around, so the horsemen will not. Well, if Blaj prioritized killing them, but I assume they would. But that's actually good for Kurush, right? Because that brings his opponent's unit in range of his onagers, so he will be able to leverage his siege strength. But he's a bit lacking in reinforcement behind the line, so we'll have to see. This spear is not quite dead. Hopefully Cliff can complete the kill. Yes, he can. Oh, with the onager nonetheless, alright. Is he going to walk in with his crossbowman? I assume he's going to try to avoid Urban Tile to stand his units on. He has quite a bit of training, so he could potentially buy a few more orders. To bridge the gap before starting to benefit from the Heliopolis next turn. The Heliopolis just completed this turn, so that's helpful, but he didn't benefit from the order quite yet. Alright, he seems to be dealing through his events. Oh, and by the way, don't hesitate to feedback if the audio levels are not quite right. Sometimes the music is a bit too loud, or the sound from the game. So yeah, if there's any issue, any recommendation on adjusting the levels, don't hesitate. it's very hard to guess how things sound from my perspective. So any input you can provide is much appreciated. Yes, Babylonia has Leopolis now. Just completed this turn in Babylon, so they will have 76 orders from next turn on. But I believe before the completion for this turn, they started with like 59 orders, something like that. So they have a definite wonder advantage, and well, the Leopolis is arguably the strongest wonder in the game. But Kush still has a victory point advantage right now. I assume with, well, the few wonders they managed to grab, the Jebel Barkal, the Hanging Gardens, and the Yasilikaya, all I believe in his capital. But also holy sites, the Temple of Solomon, the Adur-Bezanmir, and I don't know where Christianity was founded. Here. So yeah, I'm not seeing the Christian holy site. Yes, it is here, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Alright. Alright, Babylon is getting to the end of its turn. Well, Cliff is getting to the end of his turn, and we'll see if Kush can mount sufficient retaliation. It's very hard to fight crossbows in forests, of course. But ballistas are still fearsome units, so it might not be impossible. At any rate, you might be able to deal with the wall, all the mounted units. We'll have to see. And alright, back to Kush. Will they keep fighting or will they move back? And you can see the order economy of Kush is amazing at the moment. I believe on the back of legitimacy and also a lot of garrisons and stronghold. No, legitimacy is comparable, so but it's simply that the city-based order economy is not as strong from Babylon, and of course they don't get the benefit from having a narrator on the throne either. Right, cleanup is starting, so that's one first horseman dead. From this onager, we could only attack that horseman. I'm not sure if there are any routing units available for Kush, however. And yes, that might be a painful omission. Killing this horseman might be difficult as well. Some level of force marches is probably warranted to be able to bring enough forces to bear. They do have the training and the orders to do such things. Alright, 2 kills is not enough, so what will they bring into the fight? I assume they will want more. Let me check. Double fatigue force march indeed, it's not unlimited. Still, while this unit can be used, this one with the roads might be able to get close to range. Let's check. Yes, it could reach, in fact, with his ballista. This one has already been marched. And yeah, I don't know where those archers attacked, but they didn't quite kill units, so a little bit unfortunate maybe in that placement. Combat walkers holding the fort on the front line. And yeah, they are damaging a lot of units, which would be great for Onager next turn, but next turn Babylon might have moved back, and it might all have to be done again. But maybe that's what Blaj is hoping to do, to gain a bit more time and deter his enemy from attacking. Some of what's going on is playing for him, time-wise. I believe he's set up to gain more victory points from culture. Alright, moving some slingers forward. But you really want more heavy hitters as well. Ballistas possibly. His chariot should be closer to the front line. It could help finish some of these kills. Well, it's a bit outclassed now. And, well, it doesn't have... Well, it does have stirrups, so he could upgrade his chariot to a horseman. If it was in his borders. We are seeing significant amount of force marches, I believe. But yeah, I would like to see some of these chariots going forward and ready to deal with that. Alright. So a threat of a rout, but more damage is needed if they're going to try to kill something. Otherwise, it will just be one more lamb to slaughter, I'm afraid. Oh, welcome, Soren. No mounted units a big problem. Yes. Oh, one chariot can rout the two ballistas. They are crossbows, so they are harder to kill than ballista because there are no bonus from mounted units onto mounted melee onto siege. So yeah, this is a bit botched as an attack. Well, so much to do. Yes, yes. 1 HP short because they are crossbowmen, so the chariot is not inflicting nearly as much damage. So a lot of damage inflicted, but only 3 kills, which is short, I believe, of what Blaj would have needed to equalize this fight. Yes, yes. This slinger could have been marched to inflict 1 more damage from... Well, there wasn't room anymore at this point, I'm afraid, so yeah. A bit of a mismanaged tactical fight. So when you are getting to late game with many units, take your time to plan a little bit your attack. You will not have enough time to plan everything perfectly, as if you had undo and could play it a few times and all that, but still, it's easy to underestimate the time available and to rush your actions more than you need to when playing. And yes, so the crossbow advantage is very strong here. We still have 4 crossbows online, and even sacrificing this one with its single hit point, there's an additional 2 back, as well as a ballista. It's very hard to contain. You would need stronger routing units for sure, I believe, and yeah, parity in tech development would be good. He's going for a court soldier, so I'm not sure what that choice is about. The alternatives were apparently scholarship, architecture, and doctrine. So I have a hard time seeing a courtier being worth more than any of that at the moment, even if all these techs take time to pay out, of course, but still. It feels like that's 400 science. It could maybe pay a bit more effectively. I guess he's probably trying to rotate his is draw, but since these are all, well, architecture is just as costly, and at least once you have it, you have it. But I'm not too sure about that. Current title is Old World with Devs. Yes, I'm sorry for this, but I still don't have admin control on the Twitch, so I cannot rename myself. So we have a generic title typically when I'm streaming. It is less than ideal, of course. I should set that up. All right, and I believe we are back to Babylon. This time with Heliopolis-powered order economy. The turn is processing. So they will have quite a bit more. They only lost 3 units, so the exchange is eating up, and I believe the military score advantage of Babylon is surviving through the onslaught, despite valiant resilience here from Kush. But of course losses are accumulating on the Kushite side as well. So Babylon maintains an advantage, and if they can bring to bear the troops they are generating and possibly starting to buy, yes, they have adopted Holy War to rush by from their backline. There's a lot more crossbows when they are coming from. An elephant, more horsemen as well. Who proved very impactful last turn, and unfortunately for Blaj, he didn't manage to get rid of all the horsemen on the front line, so they are still a threat of this kind of efficiency, especially when facing siege units. So are inflicting very strong damage there. This route chain can probably be continued through both these ballistas and possibly the slingers. Not the 1 HP cavalry. Yes, but you didn't prioritize it accurately, Blaj, last turn. You could have killed all the cavalry. And yes, routing is still very strong. You can counter it with spears, but you only need 1 to inflict a lot of damage. So they are playing their role of elite units with incredible order efficiency, and of course when facing a siege heavy composition, as is somewhat in fashion in the meta with ballistas and onagers, they can prove devastating, and that's what we are seeing. I can only guess that Cliff is looking for the missing point of damage to finish his ballista, but the horsemen by themselves can provide 8. So he should be able to find the damage is missing at the moment to nab that kill for good. We'll see. He's taking a little bit more time to think about it. If I have to guess, to see how to finish that kill. Oh no, okay, he went on a tangent and killed the spearman. It gives it room to put a ballista on this tile, or maybe a spearman and then insert ballista or a crossbowman. He has plenty of training for force marches if he wants to. If I was him, I would like to put a ballista there, but you need to kill more first. Oh, I'm not sure I agree with that. He broke his own potential route chain for a value that isn't clear to me. If you're going to not be able to route, I would rather attack into a ballista than a spearman. But he's making room for his ballistas to target the city, I believe. And kill the spear as well on the way. Where's the ballista? Alright, moved in the forest, interestingly. So finished the walker. damage the major archer and the ballista with Pierce 3, I believe. Yes. Right, Spearman went in. Yeah, that's a wasted route, finishing with 1 point of damage on the Spearman. Not looking good for Blaj. Does he have more army in the back? He has more army in the back, but they are still far away, and I believe he is outclassed, as you are saying. From the start of his session, he was already at military score disadvantage, so inflicted good losses and showed some resilience early on. But while Babylonian forces have plummeted, Kushites one have plummeted as well. He is much stronger in science, but still the accumulated research is still favoring Babylonia for now with the early lead. So when that was really valuable, and his advantage in victory point is, well, it's strong, but it's not quick enough. Obviously, it doesn't matter how many victory points you have if you are losing territory and your army. So he's under a lot of pressure at the moment. He had an enormous order advantage, but his army was a bit static with a lot more siege than his opponent. Many more ballistas, but they were exposed to rout that Cliff put to good use. So he's lost quite a bit of that. Let's check. I believe at the start of this session he had 6 archers and as many ballistas, and at the moment we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 ballistas and 5 archers still. But this advantage for what it was started to erode, and his mounted unit, he has only a single chariot, which is not cutting it at this point in the game. He didn't quite prioritize enough his enemy's mounted unit, which proved devastating to his set of ballistas. So yes, it looks like a difficult position for Kush and Blaj. I agree. The Heliopolis just completed as well for Babylon last turn, so this is the first turn he's actually benefiting from these orders. So while he hasn't made as much use of his capability to put shrines everywhere and gain an awesome order economy, this is doing a lot to close the difference in order generation they had. So Kush still has an advantage, but as you might imagine, this great ramp from the Heliopolis is closing that advantage. And he has quite a bit of troop in his backline as well, with crossbows coming up, horsemen completing, additional Cimmerian archers. So it feels like his backline is also more robust than his opponents at the moment. Maybe Barding can save the day, but it feels late to do that. So we'll have to see. I've been surprised by some questionable tactical play, probably due to the pressure of the turn timer. So I believe he may have played his previous turn a bit too quickly, and didn't quite damaged a lot of units, but didn't complete as many kills didn't get as many kills as he should have. So yeah, he lost another 6 units, and the ballistas are definitely relevant. Without, well, his opponent is still encroaching, so maybe his own archers will be able to do a better job now, since they weren't addressed by Babylonian forces. But yeah, cataphracts are very strong, but still depends on how much you lose, right? It's not like he has many chariots to upgrade or can make a lot of a timing, and the 6 turns is still 6 turns, and you need to survive until then. I feel like he's attacking a bit instinctively without checking enough if he can kill units, so he's not quite making the most of he's privileging damage over kills, and I believe that is a mistake currently. So got rid of the horseman at least, but it would be so good to have a routing unit right now to get those kills and to finish them. Yeah, I agree. Agree, Soren. He needs to get rid of these crossbows. They are tough units though, so. But he's inflicting good damage. He already killed a pair of crossbows, a spear, a horseman. So he still has teeth, definitely. Alright, moving his Major Archer, getting rid of another unit. Another Spearman in particular, so giving himself a bit of room if he can reach Barding. He doesn't have a very impressive store of food and iron, and I guess his economy is decent, but it's not incredibly spectacular either. These cataphracts take quite a bit of effort to get up, so we'll see if he can do that. Strong damage though. 3 crossbows, that's definitely helpful. Killed. These ones are a bit hard to dislodge in the forest, but he's trying to hold the line with his remaining Major Archers, occupying the forest himself whenever possible, of course. Oh, and maybe inflicted enough moral damage to his opponent that they might consider moving back. They definitely didn't expect to get a bloody nose out of their advance. So this is important to remember. You're fighting a human, and you can convince a human that he's losing even when he's not. So strong resilience here from Blaj. And of course, maybe Cliff pulled the trigger a bit early. yeah, indeed. Moral damage, it's super effective. Well, he still lost 6 units last turn as well, and they are painful. But these are painful losses. But he still has a strong order advantage, he still has units. But of course, what we are seeing reinforcing at the moment are slingers and axemen. Warrior would just upgrade to a spear. Whereas on the Babylonian side, we are seeing crossbowmen reinforcing. Yeah, crossbowmen a bit everywhere. Ballistas on the way, some horsemen. But if he can hold long enough, indeed Barding is game deciding tech. So this might well we might well see another reversal. Yeah, still it's fighting exposed on these urban tiles. But Major Archers are coming in reinforcement. I'm surprised I'm not seeing Beja Archer for 8 strength instead of 6. I'm pretty sure he has quite a few citadels around. Maybe not. I assume so because of his other economy. Well, there's definitely a citadel here, but the city is busy making getting councils to power Rush economy, I assume. And Nakwa is not gifted with a citadel, so no Sentinel Beja Archers coming out of here, at least yet. And yeah, he would have to replace an improvement, I believe, to place it. Oh no, okay, he has a few tiles available in the north for urban improvements. But yeah, a strong turn again. A lot of fighting. And I believe for both players, the temptation to move back and heal, recuperate a little bit. Must be strong. You don't really want to walk into your enemy's Onager's range, of course. But slight repositioning on Blaj side makes the deterrence of moving in a bit stronger. And overall, the situation is looking better locally for Blaj. So maybe the reinforcement from the Babylonian side, sorry, are a bit too far away, and yeah, it might be in time to hold. Interesting. That's a luxury in MP, having so many orders to spare. I expect he's probably cycling through his... should probably extend his time through his units. But yeah, even rural improvements are quite valuable, especially if you're going for costly cataphracts. Okay, spending some orders and getting wood. And okay, is Cliff moving forward or getting back to his city to heal? Yeah, he's opting to move back at the moment and maybe take a standard deal bat. But that's quite a victory for Blaj and Kush at the moment. Sure, it will be hard for them to push and convert into an attack, what with slow ballistas and siege units, but even just getting a chance to maybe upgrade a few units, get closer to barding. Yes, this is a fallback. Is very valuable. And in some ways, time is on his side, with barding coming up, with strong science advantage for Kush at the moment, science generation advantage, even if accumulated tech is in Babylonia's favor still. And Babylonia was kinda all out, right? There's barely any worker doing something, even shrines to leverage Leopolis better. They are far from capped with 4 shrines per city. Oh, welcome, Scientific. Welcome, it's pure luck as well, and welcome Solver to the stream. Newish player, and I feel like my science is always terrible. Coworker husband is currently doubling me up in a duel. What are some tips besides specialists to improve it? So specifically, urban specialists. If you want to. A specialist on the rural tile, a rural specialist, let's say a stonecutter, miner, is 1 science. A urban specialist, a basic one, an apprentice, is 2 science. And that's a significant difference. Of course, with Constitution, the law unlocked at sovereignty here, it's an additional research per urban specialist specifically. There is, let me find it, a theology from which temple give you an additional research per urban specialist once again. And then there's your pick of families. Sages provide yet another research per specialist, any specialist, rural or urban, but do not make random specialists. Try to target the specialists that are most valuable for to you, either because there are resources that you want. All right, so we see Roding from Kush with his walkers during his opponent's turn. So which probably favors him because he still is stronger in terms of siege units composition. But still, these roads can also be used by their opponent, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword so often. Yeah, I probably cannot get into a very deep science tutorial during the duel because there's action going on. But there are some tutorials, and since Scientific is in the chat, I believe you can check some of his of the game. He's published on his YouTube account, and you will find some good advice in general. I'm not sure if there is a clear science rush or science themed video, but there are probably quite a few, and good advice overall for that. If you're not on your Discord yet, I would suggest you get there. Our community is generally very helpful, and we participate in it, and we'll be happy to provide advice on how to progress and learn with the game. Alright, we are back to Kush. Some religion spreading. Oh, the army of slave. Alright, things are happening. Yeah, the gameplay question on Discord, or even theory crafting, if you want to get a bit more into the pre-planning, theoretical side of it, but maybe it's better to start with gameplay questions. You will find interesting things. One thing that happens with our community, sometimes players who are asking for advice can post a save, and I advise you do that. Just share a save, say, alright, this is a difficult situation, I was there, I was doing that, and I'm facing these difficulties, and I'm sure stronger players will jump in and will be able to give you really tailored advice, benefiting from a save, and might showcase some possibilities out of it, but yeah, we are very proud of our community in general, and don't hesitate to leverage it. You'll get good advice. And alright, aggressive roading. I'm a bit surprised that we see aggressive roading, but not aggressive ballistaing to follow. He's not quite ready to do that, but this sounds like a worker sacrifice. If you're not going to use the road instantly, maybe keeping your workers to road aggressively a bit later on would be advised, because here it might benefit your opponent before it benefits you, so it's not so clear. Well, I suppose it's a show of confidence, right? It's telling his opponent, I'm ready to come get you, but yeah, we are seeing the convergence of crossbows from the backline in Babylon, so the local advantage will be temporarily for sure. Still, super strong order economy, very impressive. If we check the graphs again, yeah, the order production is still showing a strong advantage for Kush, despite the Heliopolis completing. So I assume wrongly that he got a second family to friendly, which would give an additional order per city as an orator, but that's not what's happening, so I'm not entirely sure how to explain this order advantage, but they still have it, that is for sure. Strong legitimacy, of course, with well, not so many Kushite pyramids, well, quite a few. Yeah, alright. There are some Kushite pyramids, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are quite a few, so he's getting legitimacy boost from that, which of course helps with orders. Miners, really? I suppose we might want money, but okay. Getting an additional scout from Karanog as well, so we'll see if some of the front line is displaced toward the south. Blaj, our Kushite player, is definitely staying cognizant of this possibility, with a few units parked around the Karanog to at least welcome any attackers. Do heal your ballistas, they are so easily in range of mounted melee units. Is he going for chariots in preparation? Well, there's no horses here. in preparation for barding in 5 turns. Not yet. Inquiries, so he's doubling down on getting more research. I suspect it might accelerate the completion of barding by 1 turn, which would be quite significant in itself, but I think I would like to see a chariot in protection in Quasar-Ibrim, a chariot in protection in Saleb for upgrades to cataphracts as soon as they become available. Otherwise you will need an additional number of turns to make use of your tech. Although of course his problem is that he doesn't have the economy to support it at the moment, so it's somewhat understandable. But you will need food to make cataphracts, you will need iron to make cataphracts, so your workers should stay busy, essentially. And they are, for the most part here, but sacrificing these is maybe not as advisable. I would have liked to see him clear out the forest. He's very ranged, apart from his spears and the lone axeman chariot. It's all slingers and mage archers and ballistas and onagers, so having these forests on his front line is providing cover for his opponent, mostly. So cutting them down would benefit him, and of course that doesn't preclude upgrading the camps if he wants. Right, I like the good scouting here. This scout is about to be revealed. So let's see if he remembers and hides it in time. Because it's valuable intel that is provided by this unit, but it's about to be revealed, so it won't just stay around. Additional scout in protection, I wonder where he will want to place it. This forest might be good if it's not in Babylonian territory, but it probably is, as the map is mirrored. No, it's not. Alright, so there are additional forests that could be exploited to gain intelligence. By Blaj is producing a horseman. Oh yeah, okay, he has stirrups, so he cannot produce chariots. So paying for a horseman, which is already 100 food, and then another 100 food to make a cataphract is costly, of course. Yeah, alright. Windmills. And more everything, more mines and farms and all of that around here. I believe Babylonia has dumped the price of stone considerably. They had a bank of over 3,000 not so long ago, and they do not aim to get additional wonders, which I'm not so sure about. There are some easily grabbed victory points. Of course, completing the wonders will take 15, well, to 16 turns, I believe, for legendary wonders, so it's a bit more delayed than the fight we are seeing. But stone can still have its use, I would say. Right, pushing crossbows, but of course the money allows him to rush units instantly with Holy War. And he's getting pressured by rebels in his territory, though. The game is going to switch me to the other side, but yes, his family opinions are not entirely ideal, especially for the Amorites. Alright, and we are back to Babylon, in fact. I was looking at the right player. Well, Skush has, well, better family management, although the Yam still dislike him at the moment, which is a result of, well, somewhat poor opinion from the oligarch, and the missing luxuries are, yeah, a bit painful at the moment. He could just assign Silphium and get back to positive, which would be good. I don't believe he has... Oh, he does have land consolidation, so he should probably be able to find some source of honey somewhere to placate his family. But I'm not seeing it at the moment. Yeah, not really. Alright, another turn of consolidation on the Babylonian side as well. That hold is a bold move. Yeah, and it was completely unnecessary as well. If you're going to make a tactical road toward your opponent, you don't need to make it before you are ready to attack and move in. So yeah, and his workers got punished for it, as could be expected, really. And he's not managing to spend his orders, so yeah, I would have liked to see doctrine instead of the soldier before for orthodoxy, and using his incredible order economy to buy units. But well, we are on to boarding now. Scholarship about to complete, a bit too late though, I would say, for Babylonia. They are moving forward with their reinforcement, but I'm afraid, yeah, they might regain an advantage that way soon enough, as their backline is a bit stronger and producing, well, crossbowmen and strong units in general. Yeah, they are packing several of them in Akkad, which might prove to be the launch pad for the next offensive, in coordination with the army and Dilbat. Yep. Yes, indeed. Alright, so order production, Kush still with an advantage. Military score somewhat equal, but the gap between the two armies has been narrowed quite significantly. So overall, the exchange was still in the advantage of Kush, I believe. We can see now about 200 points, a bit more of discrepancy in military score, whereas I believe we started the, well, I'm not sure. We started the stream around turn 98, I believe. So turn 98, we had a discrepancy of, well, 600 points. So the gap has narrowed indeed a little bit. In terms of navy, I think I spotted a bireme at one point. Yes, there's a single bireme here on the Babylonian side with a, well, not incredibly impressive trader city here. Our players are very addicted to traders, it seems, so we have quite a few inland traders. So a bireme on Babylonia side, and let me check. No navy on the Kushite side. There is a half plan to get the Colossus at one point, it seems. Probably dating for some time now. So no navy to speak of, really. This bireme could help ferry units, but it's not really enough to strike a decisive blow. We would have to see quite a bit of play to join borders or expand them. But potentially with a few more and a bit better connection, it could help support the logistics for a southern attack. We are not seeing it yet, though. Oh, and Blaj remembered and saved their scout. They were on the last turn of invisibility, of free invisibility after, well, I assume being displaced by territory or potentially infiltrating in his opponent's city. Oh, Babylon's judge leader is severely ill and doomed, so they are not long for this world. Let's check who the heir might be. So that would be, oh, an impulsive but righteous zealot, who are disappointed at the Zoroastrian of faith, but a zealot on the throne at this point would be very strong. The minus discipline is sure to hurt his economy significantly, and he doesn't have the civics bank to make great use of enlisting. But of course, the extra fatigue point in itself is very strong, especially with another economy that is recovering following the completion of the Heliopolis. Although I don't see our player investing in additional shrines at the moment. yeah, I don't see even a single shrine in production at the moment. If you're getting the Heliopolis, get your shrines, people. Just the order is worth it. But the ability to ferry reinforcement much more efficiently would be incredible, of course. So would be good to see that. And alright, Blaj is getting that little bit closer to barding. I'm not sure what happened here. But that is not good opinion. Oh, they converted to Kushite paganism. They were previously Jewish, I assume, which was almost bringing them into positive. But they do not love them as the Queen Consort does to be able to overpower the minus 220 furious opinion from the Patriarch. I believe an assassination is in order to get rid of this awful Patriarch and religious tension in his empire. We'll see if he picks up on that. Yeah, agree, Snap. I thought Blaj was done for already, but there was a bit of tactical misplay, I would say, on both sides. Route chain not quite coordinated enough. Some mistargeting, but I thought Babylon would still overpower Kush on that battle, and I didn't have the right read either. So well played indeed. He will really have to deal with that though. The minus 10% on all his hunter units might prove decisive, and it's a big loss compared to almost positive as he was until last turn. I suppose he's considering what to do. Alright, he's converting his oligarch to his religion. And yes, converting to the religion would be good, but I would recommend converting pagans first and imprisoning assassinating the patriarch of his pagan religion would still be warranted. So probably worth selling some resources to achieve it, because this is a really big thorn in his side, no matter what, with minus 220, and of course all his cities are pagan. Paganism is very much a strength of Kush, but when it goes this wrong, it can also be a weakness, of course. Alright, more ballistas completing, horsemen on the way, monks, scouts, miners. He doesn't seem as dedicated to military unit protection and fighting as I would have assumed. Getting an additional windmill, some luxuries around, not quite the ones he would like. He would really want honey and fur, and I'm not seeing any honey and fur on the map. Yeah, there are camps here, but just game. Fur here, so that should be a very high level of priority for Kushite friend. So getting a shrine here, anything to get this tile into his border would be very valuable. He already has his 4 shrines in the city though, but Hamlet or anything, he has land consolidation, so he most definitely has Hamlet. Would be well worth it. I would say more than this windmill, for instance. Alright, ferrying units toward the front. Good. But yeah, fur and honey would be of great value to him. That's minus 1 over 20 opinion that they could improve. Plus the benefit from sending the luxury, of course. I'm not seeing honey anywhere on the map. I'm probably blind though. this is all wine. And yeah, okay, he's consolidating in the forest, so at least that's a bit of deterrence. Oh, that's a Kushite fort that we are seeing on the front line. A pair of them, actually. A trio of them, sorry. With a pair of slingers and axemen working on it. It's gonna happen. It's cataphract time. Yes, catastrophe might happen. Have we seen cataphracts play a role in the tournament yet? I'm afraid I'm far from having caught up on all the matches. It's fracking time. All right. Yeah, might be. It seems we are in a standoffish situation, so of course Babylon still packs a punch. And they might still have the first track advantage with routes if they were to move in with quite a few horsemen, but for now, cataphracts are not yet here, so that might still play a role. And of course crossbows are quite punishing, so... Does Blaj have many chariots to upgrade? No. To my knowledge, he has one chariot. He had a few more, but he lost them in the previous conflagration. Here he has a horseman. I think he has 2 horsemen in total in production. Yes, one in Kerma, one in Hamadab. And he has more cities with horse. Oh, one is in production in Soleb, which I don't think I agree with, because by the time it completes, you will have to double invest into barding. So I would rather get anything to be able to rush out units. That would be money. If you're going for cataphracts, you do have Holy War, I suppose. Yes. So civics or money, both would be great. Oh, Beja Archer at long last. He's been making do with his first tier of unique unit for some time. This is not quite true anymore though. Yeah, this is still a Major Archer, 6 strength unit, boosted by a hero and being a ranger on a forest, but still not as strong as he could field, potentially. And of course the minus 10% for hunters really hurts at the moment. Would love to see an estate rush to victory. Alright. I think I kind of hate that mechanic, but yeah, maybe we'll see opulence. He has an advantage in victory points, but still, there's quite a way to go with 25 points missing, 15 points missing, sorry. Opulence spam could do it. Yeah. I believe he's 9 on 9 on luxuries, so it would be a bit hard. But yeah, on the Babylonian side, yeah, there's still room to gain more VPs. Obviously, he founded Akkad as well. Cataphract versus Siege and Slinger army would be brutal if it happened quickly. Yeah, but it's not a Siege and Slinger army. The player going for Cataphracts is Blaj, and he has the Slinger and Siege army at the moment, so it's not so clear that Cataphracts will not be as devastating when running into crossbows. So it's not quite unequal in that sense. Let's see. Babylon has martial code, but they do not have barding, and they still need battle line, and for battle line they still need steel. So Babylon is much further away from Cataphracts at the moment. We'll see where they opt to go with their tech pass, but yeah. Yeah, it's good for Cataphracts. Yeah, he had Nad looks, yes, indeed that's the case, Snap. But they are assigned in part to his families, and he has big families issues, big family opinion issues. Oh, Manichaeism Oh, so he is also quite hated by the patriarch of his own religion. Minus 360 actually. It's a worse kind of furious than the minus 220 from Kushite paganism. Still, it doesn't do well that much at the moment, apart from making his sages hate him. We're not seeing assassination attempts at the moment. Might be coming though. And yes, that's 3 available luxuries to assign on start estates. He has assigned only a single luxury to a family, a favored luxury, lavender for sages. Whereas, let me have a look again. Yeah, I kind of like games. Yeah, I agree with you, Scientific. I kind of like games going late occasionally and seeing the far side of the tech tree. Maybe not always, but it's cool to see the big toys, let's say, on the board occasionally, and maybe a more greedy play occasionally paying out. Although in this case, Babylon had a significant advantage for a long time in terms of research, and they actually have more research accumulated, spent, even at this stage, than their opponent. But it seems a bit more focus on. Yeah, already 5 cities would be eligible to make estates because they have luxuries assigned already. So we could see some estates in production for Kush. I don't think I spotted any in production though, so not quite yet. And if you're going for VP, there are still wonders on the board as well. And I'm not sure that wonders wouldn't be competitive with first making an estate, then completing an opulence project. Although he has some high civics cities in his core that could do that somewhat efficiently. But he's producing military units, so probably doesn't want to let go of the training, which I would understand, even if rush economy. We are in rush economy territory, so it's not as valuable. King's gonna die soon. Vengeful will disappear. Oh yes, right, he is dying. Savali Hill and Undoomed. Well caught, Blunt Magic. I forgot that after mentioning it. Colossus being eyed by Blaj too. I like. Yeah, I don't know. These pins might have been placed 50 years ago, as far as I know. So I like the cascading nature of the upper and lower bracket. It's cool to know that these guys will be up against if they win. Yes. Yes, it's exciting, the double elimination format. That's one thing I like personally. I suppose we'll get more formed opinion after the event, and if we try smaller ones, maybe showcasing various ways to go about these setups. But I think the double elimination at Generate is very successful, so that's quite good. And yeah, that will help with opinion definitely dying. And he has a zealot here, if they didn't die in the meantime, which will come with its own pain, because they are Zoroastrian and that's not their religion, because the -3 discipline will damage his economy. But still, extra fatigue for everyone, and the possibility to enlist if he can resist the temptation of spending his civics on getting treasuries. So I get the urge to get money, but you kind of want to you kind of want to bank civics as soon as possible if you're going to be a zealot. But alright, there are treasury ones at least, and I suppose it's extra culture as well for Babylon, but it's not going to decide something in his core. The +2 culture from treasuries. Gardeners. Yeah, there's wine, there's additional room to get more luxuries. Okay, it's consolidating militarily, or well, more accurately, just waiting. Apparently spent a very significant part of his orders without bringing horsemen closer without bringing these crossbowmen closer. So he's relenting a little bit in his push. So I understand he has to try to deal with these guys, which are a pain, rebel crossbowmen, but still, it seems he went into full walker mode. I'm not sure Library is going to decide the game at this point. But I think he needs to keep concentrating his forces. He has a military advantage, but he couldn't leverage it because his units were not in the right place. So that should be his priority, I believe. Alright, he is moving units forward. Maybe not as high a priority as I suggested, but still, he is moving forward, and that's good. Something not to keep. Not to forget. And yeah, Alcaraz may get his ultra-wide tournament game. Who knows? But believe it or not, it's also possible to overgrid on an ultra-wide map, so... To think you can allow yourself and get surprised, you still need to be able to react and to adapt to what your opponent is doing. It's easy to be lulled into comfort by the size of the map, or the expected size of the map, and then still getting caught with your pawn down by a Swift Zealot or something like that. Oh, hello Alcaraz, welcome to stream. I was possibly making snarky comments about greed, but welcome to street. And yes, it was a stronghold by Blaj, and is getting in reach of cataphracts potentially. So we might be seeing yet another reversal. Although his economy doesn't quite support, isn't in shape to support a massive amount of cataphracts. But let's see what he does with it. He would have to deal with his opinions as well. This is probably very painful. I believe he was trying to convert his knees, but apparently that failed. Oh, I'm not sure what happened. But she's still... or maybe he wanted to convert her to Zoroastrian? But you really want to get rid of this penalty, so assassinate the Patriarch potentially, and convert whatever pagans you can find in the Yam family to... well, either of those, Judaism or... Yeah, alright, the oligarch is busy converting the chancellor and head of Judaism is busy converting the oligarch, and that would help. But you really want to convert the pagans and to get rid of pagans, because at the end of the day, if they adopted Zoroastrianism, it wouldn't be quite as good as Judaism, but 18 points. But this benefit is capped to 200 anyway, so either of those would be good. What you really want is them not to be pagan at the moment, because the discrepancy there is enormous. It's 300 points of opinion, more or less. So get rid of the religion that causes problem would be the urgency. Alright, colonies play. That's still quite dangerous, so... I know slingers feel cheap, but they're still not free, so... do something about that. Alright, one chariot ready, horsemen in production everywhere. Yeah, and I believe actually starting them so late is a bit of a mistake. Should have started chariots earlier if he could, but maybe he already had stirrup at the beginning of the game. Yes, he had, definitely, because yeah, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to get martial code and holy war. But you're going to pay the food and the iron twice, and that's not trivial actually in your situation. So maybe getting your rush buffers up and ready to get cataphracts out would in fact be the better play. I'm not entirely sure. Getting a handful of horsemen maybe, but not paying for it everywhere. I like the Beja archer. He needs to replenish his infantry strength, and the Beja archers are very strong. Do you guys prioritize political mood? I often do military action first and run out of orders for building on politics. It depends on the situation, but this, in the middle of a fight, your military family hating your guts, being unable to rush in the 3 cities on your front line and your best military protection, having minus 10% on all of the units from your military families, which are the most numerous one, is critical. When this happens, you should pay attention and definitely react to that with a degree of priority. Try to do something about the pagan religion itself. I have to assume that he thought putting them into prison would help. It does not. Religious leaders in prison are still leading their religion, so he would need to assassinate, which would take his spy master a mission, and I believe that would cost, let me see, 400 money and 2 orders, and this has a chance not to work, unfortunately, but I think it should be tried. Maybe releasing them from prison would help. I don't know, but this minus 220 opinion and the result it has on paganism is very painful. So it depends on the urgency, in short. Sometimes you cannot gain an immediate benefit, but you really need to deal with that. This has very large consequences. Oh, welcome, Vaylane78. Welcome to stream. And zero player for a custom game is such a unique and fun option. I can't say I haven't tried, but welcome to stream. And if you are not a member of our Discord yet, I would really encourage you to join. We have a wonderful community. This tournament, for instance, this is a tournament match from a duelist tournament that is ongoing, organized and supported by the community. We actually have the organizer of the tournament in the chat at the moment, Alcaraz. Thank you again, Alcaraz, for organizing this event, and very active players as well. And you will find advice, games to share, event to participate in. The Discord server is really the core node of our community, and I would encourage you to join if you're not there already. Alright, so a measured advance, buying tiles, asserting dominance, but I'm afraid this is going to get punished quite significantly, and even losing a pair of slinger is... You might well find yourself wishing for these slingers to still be alive in the not too distant future. So I'm not convinced with these moves on the front line. And he still has order to spare as well, to maybe try to deal with his religion. Alright, we are back on the Babylonian side. I believe the turn is processing. This guy might die. Indeed they did. Alright, so opinion of the Manichaean is much better, although still bad. Because what? Because this guy is... Because it's not their state religion, as simple as that. And they didn't really actively do something about it for the Amorites, so they also have... I have to still play on the easiest level. This game is hard to master. Well, you will find plenty of advice on people to discuss with on Discord, including Scientific, who will try to convince you that the game is actually too easy. And I hope I will not irritate Scientific too much by mentioning that possibility. it's not too easy. We know the game is hard to master. Definitely, there are a lot of systems. Quite a few are a bit lateral compared to the genre, so it takes a lot of adaptation, sometimes to unlearn knee-jerk reactions and assumptions that you might have coming from other other games. Yeah, that's scientific alike. Get good indeed, but you will find advice, constructive advice. You will be able to share your experience, even sharing saves, receiving feedback upon that on the Discord server. So yeah, well, I believe this is the late platform, and yes, moral damage as well in the other direction. So in case you are not yet very savvy with psychological warfare, beware that any message you send in chat is signifying your dismay to your opponent, and that they gained a little bit of a better position in the moral game. At the end of the day, most games are won when your opponent surrender in multiplayer, and that's an important thing to keep in mind. When's the last time we checked the science graph? I believe it was 3 turns ago, but let's check again. Babylon is recreating the gap, so that's a bit of wait time here in military score, but let's check science. So Kush maintains a very strong advantage there. They are not quite doubling, but I would say plus 80% of Babylon's research currently. And Babylon just lost their leader, so their science production is probably going to get lower as well. But Babylon has still spent more research that they gain over the full game. So this advantage, which doesn't look as impressive, but lasted 82 turns, is of course still a bit more than compensation for this huge gap at the moment. Power graphs like that are becoming real common in this tournament. You mean the military score gap, where after a victory one player is slipping a little bit and letting his military score plateau? Yeah, Kush is about to take the lead in science. They have a very strong order advantage despite the Heliopolis, so this is very very important. In military score there was a very large gap when I picked the game, which I believe was on turn 95, so over 400 I believe, or a bit before, and then it was closed a little bit, but then Babylonia and Cliff kept cranking up units, and Kush relented a little bit. So yeah, the discrepancy is the gap is widening again, and Babylon has a strong advantage. And we see Onager, Master Poet. What's that? Is that an autonomous city or something? Master Poet, really? And an Odeon? You mean upgrading an apprentice poet to a master poet? What's going on here? Wow, misclick. Treasuries? Well, disputable as well, but alright, I suppose you're Babylon, you want the 2 culture, you forgot for 106 turns, it's time to catch up. Woodcutter? Well, I suppose they have to work on their economy a little bit. And there's a wave of treasuries coming because they have stone and they don't have money, I suppose. But yeah, we are seeing consistent rushing every turn. I would have liked to see Doctrine, and I hope that's where our Kushite player Blaj is going next, because this order economy needs to be put to good use, and orthodoxy would be one way to do that. Of course, barding first in his situation, but still something to keep in mind. So he rushed a horseman last turn, but of course, with furious hunters, he cannot rush in any of their cities at the moment. not this horseman, not anything else. There's probably a bit of attacks dealing with rebels. He rushed another horseman, so alright, he's not quite sleeping. I was a bit... it was a bit of an exaggeration on my part. He went back with his Blaj archers and upgraded them to Blaj, I believe. These are coming from the front line, aren't they? No, they don't. He just picked promotions. I'm misreading. And Blaj is saying that he might have to go soon. Oh, that's unfortunate. We might not see the game conclude this evening. Let's have a look again at what Babylon is doing in the meantime. Yeah, they are bringing more units. Play this turn, the next one probably. So it seems we are going into another session. I suspect Kush will keep the momentum moving. Alright. The challenge I seem to find is managing family happiness when expanding, growing. Yes, it is a challenge. It takes... You don't want to expand infinitely. The game might lure you. Some people sometimes have the conception that there are no breaks to expansion, and that's not true. You probably want a strong core and to expand later, possibly through war. But yeah, there's a whole discussion to be had about that. Now, the fact that people with higher power still tank themselves against a weaker opponent. Possibly, yeah. I suspect Kush will keep the momentum going. To be fair, Kush had a lot more onagers. They were defensively positioned. And originally, Babylon was successful because they were fighting around there. But when they moved in, they got punished by the onagers in part. And yeah, essentially they still had an order disadvantage. They moved in before the Heliopolis kicked in to somewhat balance the order discrepancy between the opponents. And well, despite some tactical inaccuracies on both sides, Kush got the better hand. And yeah. But I think it was well played on Blaj. The situation wasn't easy, and they managed to convince their opponent that they should turn tail and go back to the Babylonian forests, and they did. Still, that's a lot of crossbows. And sure, cataphracts are cataphracts, but it's still hard to kill crossbows in forests, even with cataphracts. And leveraging the rest of his army, which is siege, for a big part. A big part of what's dangerous about it are the ballistas and the onagers, and they will be hard to move forward and to support the cataphracts with, so we'll see. Let's see if he's picking up on the... Alright, so he successfully converted the oligarch to Judaism, which is all well and good, but the family is still pagan, so he will have to convert more characters, and pagans in particular, let's say all characters. So this would make a decent target, for instance, for conversion, this guy as well. Let's see if there are younger ones that are likely to stay around for more. Yes, there are plenty of pagan characters that could be converted, which is a 2-in-1, right? They would become Jewish and benefit from that opinion boost and move toward family conversion, although it will take 5 years, I believe, at minimum. It will also move them away from paganism and help get away from that, because that's the main thing, right? You don't really care if they adopt Judaism or Zoroastrianism. I suppose you have a slight preference for Judaism for 21 point of opinion, but moving away from paganism is a lot more important. The king could convert as well, if they have metaphysics, do they? Yes, they do. So they could dual convert with both the oligarch, the patriarch who is pleased, and the leader. Pax would mess Fracker though. Maybe we'll see Babylon shoot for that. We'll see. At the moment, I haven't seen them. They don't seem to be producing many polearm units. I suppose there is a spearman in the work. And we'll check where they are going with the tech tree, I suppose. Alright, moving some units forward, repairing, dealing with rebels. more better archers in protection, but I would like these ones to get closer to the front line. I'm not sure if they're positioned so far back to deal with rebels. Maybe? Nope, rebels would spawn here at minimum. So if you're going to position against them, position in the forest so that they don't get there. Yeah, let's check the comparative pass through the tech tree of our players. So very much of a priority toward barding, so it doesn't have much advanced units beyond that. Ballistas at hydraulics and onagers at machinery, of course. And is second grade unique unit, better archers. But no swords, no longbowmen, no infantry square, sorry, pikemen from infantry square. Macemen are a bit counterproductive if you are going to invest your iron into cataphracts, and it's not facing super strong infantry. Well, I suppose macemen, but crossbowmen, but macemen are a little bit of a dud against crossbowmen. As melee infantry, they would get shredded. Little doubt of that. And let's check what Babylon has opted for in the meantime. The different size of the onager symbol looks somehow weird. What do you mean, Mojo? And welcome to stream, by the way. Cataphract Toy, are we seeing them on the field this game? Maybe next turn? It will be scary going up against onagers and cataphracts. Yes, definitely, but that's still a defensive position, so you would still have to gain 14 more victory points to close the game that way. So, which takes some effort. I suppose he has some victory points in store if you can manage to spread, I believe, Judaism with mythology and a few shrines. You could get there. Opulence might help as well, but yeah, he isn't quite there. And Babylon has, okay, by contrast, is going steel for maybe battle line, maybe barding in the end, but not there yet. Quite far from infantry square, as they ignored square, steel, battle line. And they do have manor, but they still have some ways to go before getting to infantry square. And of course, they are generating 164 science per turn, which is respectable, but that's not the 300 research that Kush is pulling at the moment. They are getting doubled over by their opponent, so the science game is not really going in their favor. But they are rushing their production, and they are gaining more and more of an advantage in terms of military score, I suspect. We switch back to a Kushite perspective. So somewhat static at the moment, fortifying on the front line, getting key forts and buying a few tiles. I think I would like to see him save on the tile buying and keep his money for rushing. He's about to get cataphracts, but it will be very hard to even pay for the resources. He doesn't have iron banked. And then he would want even more money to be able to rush them out. And this penalty is still very painful. Although they got back from Furious. What from? Oh, just a conversion of the oligarch, I believe, was enough. But yeah, this is still a thorn in his side. Additional conversion are ongoing. Alright. Shebitku of Kerma. Who is that? Oh, I'm Babylon again. Alright. Let me check still who Shebitku of Kerma is. If we may. Oh yeah, I see agents online. Let's check the vision maybe as well. Alright, so yeah, he's trying to convert his youngest pagan from his family, so that's the right way to go about it. Well done. And he has agents in Opis and in Borsipar, and combined with a pair of scouts along the main support line, logistic line of Babylon, as well as a scout in Kish. I have to comment. This is very good, very strong vision game on Blaj part. Kush has a very good handle, a very good perception of what their opponent is doing. They can keep an eye on the full supply line, the reinforcement coming from the core, and be warned well in advance if there's any surprise diversion toward the south that goes on. So that's very well done. Let's have a look at Babylonian standing in that way. So they have an agent in Akasha and another one in Kawa, so they can keep an eye on horseman and spearman production. They will immediately see that this city can now build cataphracts next turn as soon as it completes. So they will identify the threat as soon as that happens. And otherwise they have this scout infiltrated here in Amadab, and additional agents all along the line in Kulubnati and Kondruka. So yeah, strong vision game from both players, I would say. Slightly weaker for the southern route from the Babylonian side, but it doesn't seem to matter much at the moment. The standoff sort of has to happen in the north, so so they are feeling. Yeah, I guess they have solid vision of one another. They are keeping their mounted units as reinforcement in the back, which somewhat makes sense, but you still want to get closer if you can. He has a few spears in the back as well, so there's two here, another one here. So I don't think he prioritizes them very much, but he still has some polearms to defend when the cataphracts come knocking at his door. And of course, if he can manage to enlist even a single one, that will be very significant. But he's not especially saving his civics at the moment. He's spending it everywhere. Walls, 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 treasury, woodcutter, treasury. That's all civics getting spent. Master poet. Alright, people, just don't make master poets. You might be allowed if you have a theater, specifically a theater, not an Odeon. Getting a specialist there in some circumstances, but upgrading an apprentice to a master poet is... Why? Why? I guess there are some cases if you're setting up a poet pump, but... yeah, civics in 60 turns it will pay out. It's already turned 107. Don't get master poets. Yeah, I guess Cyan is with me on this one. I mean, if you're setting up a poet pump, okay, but that's not something you start at turn 107. Yeah, more troops, indeed. Farmer, stop spending your civics. If anything, council everywhere. You want your civics to be able to enlist, and if you're doing all your production just by rushing at this point in the game, it's fine, it's okay. You're allowed to do that. But for that you need the fuel, you need the money, you need the civics. You get both by doing council. This treasury isn't going to achieve much. I guess maybe as a professional army. Yeah, alright, that's what's going on with the treasuries. Still, that doesn't explain the master poet. I suppose you want the food, alright, but it's a bit late. This is a scary front line. Alright, we'll see. At the moment, no military production at all. I think there is a horseman in production somewhere. Yes, here in the Curricle Zoo. And that's it. To be fair, they went through a large spike while Kush wasn't producing much. Well, Kush had units in production, but they weren't completing them. So, which is changing with horseman, spearman, quite a bit of rushing going on. Barding coming online next turn. Horseman about to complete, a pair of Blaj archers going on. But yeah, Kush is taking their military commitment a bit more seriously at the moment. Barding is done. Alright, we can celebrate a little bit by checking the military score. Yeah, so we have a gap of 1630 to 2187. So the gap is closing a little bit to close to 600, 500 at the moment. But are cataphracts going to be enough, quick enough, strong enough to do something? Or actually, I would like, well, okay, doctrine. I would like doctrine because you really need orthodoxy. You should get orthodoxy when you're generating 87 order per turn, and that's well, spending quite a bit. Well, not that much actually on improvement construction, but an additional currency would be great. Yeah, infantry square, but you're the one getting cataphract, so I did agree with that pick. I could see composite bow just because he has a lot of slingers. And I could see doctrine because orthodoxy is really needed at this point, so doctrine is the right pick, I would say, in this context. But right, infantry square to upgrade his axemen to pikemen. I mean, pikemen are good, but they will compete for the iron with your soon-to-be cataphracts, for the wood with Blaj archers, and there are a few horsemen on the other side, but not cataphracts yet. So yeah, if you're going to pick barding in a duel, make cataphracts, please. Judges, what that? Oh, he could become a judge. Or a zealot. Alright, and he became a zealot, so we have a zealot duel at the moment. And I like this enlist situation better than I like this one. Alright, zealot versus zealot. Interesting. He's severely healed on the other hand, so that might not last very long. But the ability to spend this civics, is this training to rush in it might be extra valuable. Unfortunately, his hunter family is back at Furious, so he cannot rush in Kuban, rush in Karanog. And yes, his opponent picked up on a cataphract. Of course, you could see the cataphracts are unlocked directly in the city, so if they were going to adjourn the game, I would have adjourned the turn before, just to hide the cataphract, not to let your opponent formulate strategies for, I don't know, a week or maybe a few days between two sessions. But yeah, Zealot, Warlock Zealot at that, so solid training. But this is a big pain. No rushing in Kuban, no rushing in Karanog, no rushing in Akasha, no rushing in Kawa. Because he's a Furious family. Most unfortunate. So there's been some rushing happening. I suppose that's what we are seeing here. And where's the leader? Have they been reassigned as a general yet? It doesn't look like it. I suppose they're severely ill. They might want to see if they survive that. But yeah, let's look at these cataphracts in all their glory. Armored horses for the win. We'll see what we get out of that. But yeah, I hope they can do something to try to deal with this situation. And if you don't know, you can also convert to well, if you are of your state religion, you can convert another character once you have metaphysics unlocked to your own religion. And since Judaism is their state religion, they should be able to convert someone to Judaism, and so double the rate of conversion using their leader and the patriarch of the religion to do that. That family should swap to Judaism soon, and it'll be like a 300 point swing. Actually, it started the game with this session. I think they were another religion. They converted to paganism only recently. Let me see if I can find it in the timeline, maybe. But since there is a minimum cooldown between conversions, that might not be in the cards quite yet. Jewish redemption established. So that's the earthquake we were seeing just as we started this stream session. All of Blaj units were hurt by the earthquake. So we started around turn 90 actually for today's session. Or right after that. Or maybe not, maybe it was. No, right, I'm not sure which one it was. But yeah, I'm not seeing the change of religion of the family, so maybe it's not logged, or maybe I misremember. Yeah, we see foundation, we see theology, enactment. But I do not see family adoption of religion. Alright. Too bad. But yeah, that's a big pain, for sure. And they are buying tiles, which is, I would say, losing focus at this point. Is that really what counts? Where we are? I suppose getting your economy stronger is important. But yeah, I would say that outside of military strength competition, this is your biggest issue, and you should be prioritizing that quite a bit. Furious is really dangerous. Rebels are attacks, minus 10% strength on all your units is it's minus 20%. Well worse than that on Furious. Minus 20% strength and defense is huge. Don't do it. But yeah, I would really hope for conversion of the Yam family to Judaism. Also, don't forget you can spend some of the time you've banked by clicking if you need it with 32 orders and many unused worker. I assume you do. Alright, I don't know if our players will adjourn the game at the moment or if they will keep playing. Looks like they keep playing at the moment. Babylon was quite hurt for legitimacy. There are still 59 orders opposite 81. So despite the Heliopolis, they didn't make great use of it yet, and they are certainly not making shrines. No, they are making libraries, garrisons. Yeah, alright, there's one shrine in production. That's not enough. Your workers should be making shrines. When you have almost 400 stone per turn, Shrines are better than garrisons, they are better than libraries. In the situation you're in, get shrines. I mean, there's no contest, right? Stronghold is half another, Shrine is 1. Twice as good for half the cost, so there's no competition unless you plan to make unique units, and you might be at capacity in terms of your production capability. You don't have that much wood. You don't really need a stronghold or a citadel. They are always useful, of course, but if you're going to spend stone and a walker, make a shrine. You have the Heliopolis, you have the strongest wonder in the game. You do not have excuses not to make shrines. Horsemen in production, that's still the only military unit, I believe, on the Babylonian side that is getting produced. Farmer, treasuries for, well, for professional army, which I guess is defensible, but really, yeah, I don't agree with that. And you should at least try to have 400 civics on the side if you have a zealot leader on the board, which is already a general of a unit. And yeah, that would be disgusting. A move in with those crossbows, despite barding having been reached on the Kushite side. Crossbows are still well, they are still crossbows. This I entirely disagree with. Don't spend civics on treasury 3. I can maybe defend treasury 1 because you're getting also 2 culture from it, because you're getting also 2 training from it. But treasury 3 in a nothing city that's not doing anything special with it, a council would be better. Yeah, indeed, this is a good match. I have no idea who's going to win at this point. I thought Babylon had a very well conclusive advantage at the beginning, but they didn't close it out, and it might go both ways. At least that's how I see the game at the moment. Maybe I'm not trusting this graph enough. I mean, this is a marked difference, no doubt. But it feels like time is playing for Kush at the moment, so long as they manage to deal with their internal strife. And who knows, maybe Babylon is going to go on a master poet spree or something and just sleep. At the moment they don't look to be walking on their advantage. A shrine around there, but it doesn't look very focused. They've given up on making wonders. They are not banking civics for their unleashed ability, or to start additional wonders to compete in the victory point race. And I mean, there are still wonders, right? The Vayarekta Soak suddenly put the threat of mass opulence on the board. The Pantheon is defensible, if it's not as strong as everything else. And when you are having this trouble in the economy, the Apadana would definitely be a strong pick as well. So yeah, I feel a bit too passive play, I would say, on the Babylonian side. And who knows? Cataphracts might end up clinching the game. But you need to deal with that stuff, and yeah. And get them where they matter, i.e. to the front line, or close to it, at least. But yeah, if you don't know what to do, do council. I like that on Blaj side more than the what I can only perceive as a bit of confusion on Cliffside. All right. So our player are posing. 1 second, I I would ask. I'm getting in touch with the players to know what their plans are for the game. If I've secured all the wonders, it could be an opulence range too. Yes, yes, and Babs definitely has the stone. They could get the Viarecta Poo, Viarecta Sock. Yeah, there's a lot of wonders left on the board, right? And some are quite valuable in themselves. So, alright, you would need 10 turns, 14 turns, 16 turns, depending on the level to complete them. But this session has been 18 turns long, and it's not decided, so would have been worth it. And you're very welcome. I'm happy to cover the game. It was well, I enjoyed myself. It's an interesting game. I hadn't seen the previous sessions, but it feels very disputed, and it could go both ways, I suppose, depending on how conscious of what's happening our players are. So very good. All right. So yes, our players are adjourning the session. It will go to a next one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair, the stone is cheap because Babylon had a bank of 4,000 or something like that at the beginning of the game, and the Heliopolis already in production. They're still producing close to 400 a turn, and they decided that Heliopolis was enough for them. But still, Padana is cheap, and you can start it easily. I can guess that Colossus and Cawthon, you need a strong city, but he has one, really. So spending the civics on placeholder projects or treasury tree rather than equalizing the victory point counter seems a bit wrong to me. I have to say, and especially with zealots on the board, you want to have at least enough civics on the side to make use of enlist, especially if your opponent has cataphracts on the board and you don't. That's prime target for enlisting. But yes, alright, so this session is concluding for today, so let's wrap up the screen. I will have a last look through the graph. So science production definitely advantage to Kush at this point, who are just about equalizing in the spent research. They just went over Babylon, who had a definite advantage for the first part of the game. So they well, a very significant one at the crossing point and at the start of this session, which was, well, I don't know, around here. Still very significant, but they've caught up and a bit more focused as well, with reaching to barding and cataphracts toward the end of the game. Legitimacy is comparable. Family opinions, of course, we can see that the opinion is much worse on the Kushite side, especially the most relevant family, the Yam, the Hunter family. Order economy is still favoring Kush, which is not really excusable from Babylon with the Heliopolis. I believe they didn't work on getting their shrines, and I'm not sure why, with stone so cheap and it's so plentiful in Babylonian lands. Yeah, overall culture is superior in Kush, as we might have guessed. And in terms of number of technology discovered, they are neck and neck, 36 to 35, but I saw them picking courtiers, and well, I didn't quite analyze why. Of course, there are some tech rotations there, but yeah, they are very close in that sense. Workers produced 36 to 19, so there were a few sacrificed as well on Blaj side, but yeah, the game isn't decided yet, so we'll have to go to a next session, and yeah, I'm curious to see how this game ends now. So, well, if I can, I will try to cast the next installment of this series, but we'll see if that's possible. Of course, real life imposes its constraints as well. And with that, that will be all for the stream tonight. So thank you all for joining and the enjoyable discussions and banter. And well, see you soon. You'd love to see the tech discovered show split between tech and bonus card. Yeah, there's a lot that could be done. We could also integrate the tech from events, but all of that has to be stored in the save data. Our saves are already quite heavy, so there are compromises to be achieved with that. But yeah, I do understand your longing for deeper statistics and better ability to analyze what happened. But it all comes with a cost, I'm afraid. So feel free to suggest. Though we are following suggestions closely on Discord and definitely keeping track of the various requests that have come up. Maybe a bit more insistently, or building more of a consensus with the multiplayer focus brought in by the tournament. But with that, I believe this is the end of the stream for tonight. So thank you all for joining, concluding and closing the stream a bit earlier than usual, but we also started 1 hour earlier at 8 my time. And well, see you next week at any rate, and we'll see when the next session of this game, Cliff versus Blaj, continues, and if I get the opportunity, I will try to cast the next session as well. Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are, and see you soon. Bye bye.